I'm Janet Richmond, and this is the Higher Self Voice. Hi everyone, I'm Janet Richmond. Welcome to my show, The Higher Self Voice. It's going to be an exciting show. I have a terrific guest. Right now I just want to say that it's an experiential show, and I'll be doing healing live every week. The guest today who's experienced some of my work, so he will be able to share with you a little bit of his experience from before. It's not just going to be me doing a healing on a guest. That will be a big part of it, but I want you also to understand that you can do the healing for yourself as well at the same time, even if you're watching the show after the fact. Whatever I'm instructing the guest to do in the healing, I want you to understand you can do the same thing. You won't be manifesting or having the exact same problem or issue, whatever the guest may ask me to work on, and it can be anything all over the map, but the underlying energetics, the underlying feelings, emotions, misunderstandings, hurts, wounds, all of those kind of things will come up in healings, and you, or fears, you can release, you can neutralize, you can dissolve your own similar things. You know, we're all part of the humanities, so we have a lot of common conditions, and I want you to be actively involved and be a participant in the show. With that, I want to introduce you to Detron Nelson. He is my guest today.
Hi,
and
Janet.
Hi. He's originally from Baltimore, and he went to college in New York for fashion design.
Yes.
He studied for 3 years.
Yes.
Then he moved to LA in 2014, and he lives and works in West Hollywood. I just want to mention that I met him only once before today, but we had an instant heart connection. I met him at the expo, Conscious Life Expo
Yes.
in February, and just immediately had that heart connection with Detron. So, Detron, why don't you tell a little bit more about yourself, you know, if you can.
Well, I grew up in Baltimore, like Janet said, and I am now living in LA. After living in New York City, I noticed this big shift in myself, sort of expanding my creativity and also understanding myself a little more.
Nice.
So moving out to LA kind of set that on fire. It set me on fire, and ever since then, I've grown into this person who understands the world a little bit more.
Nice.
And aware of the conditioning and the people around me, and how I affect them and they affect me, and how I affect my environment. So ever since then, I've just evolved, and I'm slowly evolving as well right now.
I think a lot of us are in process. I love that, and I think LA is such a great place to do it. And I just want to point out your beautiful outfit.
Oh, thank you.
Unfortunately, the viewers don't get to see the whole thing.
Thank you so much.
But
just for you. Yes.
I do want to mention that you have an Instagram account, right? And do you
Yes.
show some of your...
I do have an Instagram account, and you can check me out on Detron. That's Detron, 2 underscores, and I show.
Remember, it's the capital D.
It's capital D, yes.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
So it's at capital D.
Capital D Etron, 2 underscores, and I show multiverse of my outfits, my experiences, my crystals, my love and my life.
Nice.
It just shows my
Yes.
trials.
The other thing is that
Mhm.
Detron is also a healer, and
Yes.
he works with crystals and candles. And
Mhm.
I talked to him just over the weekend and found out for the first time, I didn't know this kind of healing modality, but you
Mhm.
work with candles, and it's a Celtic tradition. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's a magical tradition in itself. So I work at a store on Sunset Boulevard called Objects Day Art and Spirit, and I'm always there. I'm usually the candle reader, and we read symbols and figures after the candle has been burnt over a course of 4 to 7 days.
Nice.
And we read that in order to uncover any obstacles or any blockages that's limiting this customer or person or energy from being manifested.
When you read the candle, is there an intuitive part, or is there, or it's specific? The
There,
modality says, oh, if the candle looks like
Mhm.
this, it means this. I mean,
There's a little bit of both. There's a training that we go through, but the reason why I am there is because of my intuitive gift
oh,
and
nice.
that vision and seeing through just the physical and going through that spiritual and metaphysical um, level as well. So
Great.
there is a little bit of both that's intertwined.
Why don't you say the name of the store again? So if anybody's
Yes.
interested, they can come to the store. What was it
Yeah.
again?
It's Objects Day Art and Spirit.
Objects Day Art and Spirit. And
Yes.
it's on.
It's on Sunset Boulevard, and we've been around for about 30 years.
For those of you viewers who are local, you
Yes.
have it here.
Yeah, so please just look us up. Look up a metaphysical store, and we're usually at the top of the list.
Okay.
But you'll find me there, or any other readers there as well are very
Terrific.
profound too. Yeah, so come
Well,
by.
okay, well, let's do a little switch. I
Yeah.
want to go back to that day in February where you know a couple people that I know. You know my assistant, and
Yes.
so I knew of
Catherine.
you, and you knew of me, and you came in because I was doing healings on the hour for about a half hour, both Saturday and Sunday there. And I was just, let's go back to that, and you decided to have a healing. Can you share with the viewers some of your experience and anything?
Yeah, of course. Well, that was at the Conscious Life Expo, and I didn't even intend on getting a healing. I was kind of trying to expand my mind and see everything. There were crystals, there were glasses that were changing colors, there were
Oh, yeah, they
aura
had
readings,
everything
and they had
there.
everything. And then I met up with Catherine, and we crossed paths, and she mentioned Janet. And I was like, sure, let's do it. So that morning, the next morning, I came down and I saw you guys, and I was kind of surprised at the whole experience because I've never been through that before. But it was very profound and it was very healing. And I thank you, Janet, because you've helped me communicate better with my mother and my family. And
Now, I don't remember what the issue was or
Mhm.
that you wanted me to heal, but
Mhm.
I do remember the healing had something profound, had a past life in it.
Yes, there were many past lives that you went through.
Oh, there
actually.
were. Oh, okay.
Starting, I think you went back all the way to Egypt, and you were saying how I was a performer, and I was sort of acting, and I was going through all these different trials where I couldn't express myself fully to everyone surrounding me. And I took that into account, and I'm using that now, and I want to get into acting and
Oh, nice.
and different creative things now because I've felt that festering in me, and you've unlocked that for me. So
Well, great.
I thank you.
Now, I do want to just tell the viewers that I
Mhm.
don't always get a past life, but if
Mhm.
there's a past life that stands out for someone in some way, then I would get it.
Mhm.
Now, wasn't there another life that you had that was also sort of telling?
Yeah, there was a very traumatic one, maybe medieval times. I think you mentioned where I was castrated.
Oh my
And
gosh, that's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
right.
and I sort of took that as me owning myself and owning my manhood and respecting myself for that. So
Nice.
I understand a little bit more of where I come from and what I need to do to fulfill my purpose here on this plane so that I could reach that higher.
You said it changed your relationship with your mom.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
now what happened with that?
So in the past, I've always had this yearning to be my 100% self.
Okay.
And I noticed as I was growing up that I was changing, and I couldn't be that 100% Detron while growing up in my household. But throughout me
Your
setting
journey.
off my journey and leaving the home and understanding what I was here for, and then having this reading, this healing with you, I can express myself to my parents and also to the people around me, and using that unlocked throat chakra, I'm able
I
to do
remember
that.
there was a lot coming out of there. I
Yes,
remember
yes.
that.
So that self-expression is now amplified because of you, and my mother's relationship with myself is it's great.
Did
It's
she? Did you
amazing.
tell her about the healing? Or
I did. I did. I mentioned a little bit. She's slowly understanding what I'm delving into. I
yeah,
just, yeah,
that's a journey too. Just
totally.
yeah, communicating.
And I've recently got her candles and sage, and so
Oh,
she's very open to it. But again, everyone evolves at a different state. So
right.
I'm glad that she's with me right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true.
I
Okay,
appreciate
well,
that.
we want to get to the healing. So,
Yes.
do you have an issue or something you want me to work on for you today?
I think right now where I am, I'd like to expand. I'd like to showcase who I am and really be on that stage in my head, and sort of show people what I'm capable of. And I hope that
Yeah,
we
sure.
can do
Expansion
some work
is,
on that.
yeah, because
Mhm.
what we'll do is we'll go in and see whatever is limiting you, whatever you're
Mhm.
carrying that holds you back.
Mhm.
Now, are you thinking in any specific way? Like you mentioned, you wanted to go into acting,
Yeah, creativity, arts,
the arts, acting.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
totally.
and
Styling, fashion,
styling, fashion.
the
How
whole
about
entertainment.
healing?
Yes.
All of the
Yeah,
above.
all of
Well,
the
I
above.
don't know, what's going to come up, and
Mhm.
I'm going to do the healing in two parts. The first part is an amalgamation, and it's a big word, not to worry, but we're in the free will kingdom, and we want to give permission to the divine energies that we all carry. We all have them. We're all equal. That they come in because those energies are what does the healing. So
Mhm.
I do the amalgamation. I'll explain it as I go. And then I will move into the healing itself.
Mhm.
And for the viewers, you can actually do the amalgamation yourself too. As you're watching the show, whether it's live or archived, you can just use that focus of attention, which I'm going to explain. Use your focus of attention and do it for yourself. Okay, and that way you can benefit from the healing also. I cannot tell you how much feedback I get from people in my meetup group and even my radio show. I get emails from people say, well, you don't know me, but I've been listening to the healings on your radio show, and my life has changed, and this is what's happened, and they give me, the list. And so it really is effective, but don't take my word for it. Give it a try. It's an experiential show, and I'm excited.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it. Thank you.
All right, so I do shut my eyes,
Mhm.
and as you know, I recommend usually you shut your eyes too,
Yes.
because I want you to be an active participant in the healing. You're your own directing identity. I'm kind of the instigator, or I'm like a guide, but you actually are the one that's doing all the work. And even if you weren't present, I could do a healing on you or anyone. And it still would work. But if you are actively involved, if you are cooperating with the healing and directing it yourself, it carries just that much more power.
Mhm.
But with consciousness is power.
Mhm.
So I encourage you to shut your eyes and
Yes.
be a participant.
Thank
And
you.
when I'm going to unfold or uncover various things behind this issue, whatever is keeping you back from your full flowering of the creativity, whatever it is, I want you to actively let it go into the light. You can either see it, the energies that you carry move into the light will dissolve it and neutralize it. It's going to be your divine light that's doing the work, or you can pull the light into yourself. You can do it either way, and you can change back and forth. You can do it all ways. Sometimes I say, hey, let's have it go,
Yeah.
both ways. So,
Yes.
and I use a lot of symbols.
Okay.
So there could be symbols, and if something different comes up for you, doesn't make it wrong, okay? Symbols help us focus.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's not the symbol that's being worked on, it's what's behind it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I want you to, take a deep breath and begin quieting the mind as best you can, pulling that mind's eye into the right here, the right now, and we're going to begin by focusing on the now moment. The now moment is not something fleeting and something we can't find or use. It is an energy field, and the higher selves are actually moving in through and around the two of us and have set up this now moment. It's an energy field that includes both of us, and we're going to use that focus of attention that we have. We're bringing that mind's eye right in, And the focus of attention is very important because it's actually the turn-on switch. It's what gives permission for these energies to work. We're in that free will kingdom, and as I mentioned earlier, the divine will, anything related to divine will cannot come in and willy-nilly help us, and if it could, wouldn't we be all fine? We wouldn't have any problems. So we have to invite the divine energies in. We have to give them permission, and the focus of attention is how we do it. So Detron and I, we're both going to be focusing on this now moment, and we're going to expand the now moment, in fact. It's an energy field. It can be expanded by our focus of attention. We're going to expand it 360 degrees around us. And it's going to move to include not only the now moment, but the past nows, the now moment, and the future nows. And in this way, it is growing, encompassing the totality of you at the soul level and me, both of us. It is growing in size, growing in space, growing in time, encompassing the totality of our journey from the time we were first expressed as minerals, and all of our journey through the mineral kingdom, the plant, the animal, the human kingdom, and beyond. And this now moment has become, in this way, the forever now moment. And this is inclusive of the totality of who you are and who I am. The reason we do this, the reason we move into this field of energy, is because the healing is not just about one incident, one event, even one lifetime. It is making available for the healing the totality of who you are at the soul level. Now, the next step is we want to focus on that divine light we all carry within. I call it the pure soul essence, but in fact you can call it whatever you want. Many people use the term the light within, the God within, the divine within, the great spirit within, whatever you might think of it as. But I like to use the symbol of a sun. The sun is so powerful and so brilliant in its own right, and our divine light carries that same kind even more. The power is so intense, and by using the sun as a symbol for that light, it connects us a lot easier to the purest, most perfect, most potent point of power that each and every soul carries. Each and every soul carries this light. A lot of our journey is literally to become aware that we have the light and how to use it. And so right now we're focusing on that light, and I want you to feel it sort of pulsing out, beating out from the heart area or from the center, wherever you sense it, and move it in through and around first the body, in through and around the totality of your body, moving it into every molecule, every cell, every system, every organ, and even the spaces in between, those nano spaces that we don't even think of as spaces, but we want to fill that physical body with this beautiful, brilliant, pure soul essence, divine light. We also want to continue to pulse that light out to encompass the totality of the etheric bodies we carry, keeping in mind that our beingness doesn't end at the skin. We carry tremendous amount of energetics around us at 24/7 from the first moment we were expressed as minerals. It is something that we've kept with us, and it is this etheric body, these etheric bodies, that much of the healing will be done on today, at least for Detron, because he's not asking for a physical healing on the physical body. But even so, just having the light, having that divine light moving in through and around the physical body brings in healing to the body itself. But we're not stopping there. We want the light to continue to pulse out until it encompasses, becomes one with, amalgamates with the totality of that soul process that is encompassed in this forever now moment. And as it's happening, and I can see it, it's beautiful. Detron and I both are becoming beautiful, brilliant beacons of light. In this way, we're being joined in one accord. I'm seeing all of the chakra centers from both of us being connected with light. And so we are working in one accord. I'm going to be the pure and perfect instrument to do the healing on Detron today, to bring it in at the very highest level that I can and explain it and communicate it at the very highest level in his highest ideal. And he will receive the healing and the energy and the information and utilize it in his highest ideal and in accord with his own divine plan. And the amalgamation isn't quite finished. We're standing here connected, creating a gigantic beam of light bigger than the planet, moving out literally into the human kingdom universe, known and unknown. I call it sometimes the time-space continuum, because we are the soul process for both of us have been around for so many infinite eons of time that's the time continuum. We've been here for hundreds and millions of lives. If you consider it starting way back as it's minerals, and even millions, cadillions of eons, infinite eons of time. Just in the human kingdom, we've been here billions and billions and billions of years. So we've been around a long time. So the time part of the time-space continuum is enormous. But so is the space part of it, because each of us at the soul level have been on many, many planets, thousands of planets. And so they're all through the human kingdom universe, known and unknown, and some are not even there anymore because it's been so long. So, and I won't get into the whys with that one, but maybe one show I will. So right now we are absolutely brilliant light, and I see legions of souls coming in to partake of the light. Why is that? Because these are souls, for the most part, that aren't aware they have their own light, or if they're aware, they don't know how to use it. And when a soul is ready to move up in its evolutionary process, it partakes of whatever element or aspect of the totality of the originating source and pulls that into the soul banks and then uses that in its own rate of speed. There's no stopwatch, there are no prizes to get somewhere faster than anywhere else, and there's no booby prizes either. You can take all the time, and every soul is on its own journey. And so I see these legions of souls, and before I move to the healing, we're going to do one more step. We're actually going to take this Forever Now moment and move it right into the symbolic heart of the originating source. The symbol that the higher selves use for this is a diamond, an energetic diamond. It is huge, and it can be as big as it needs to be. It's multifaceted. It's two four-sided pyramids base to base, and it's reflective. It carries every color, every shape, every bit of knowledge, every aspect, everything of the totality of originating source. And this Forever Now moment, we are moving right into the center of it. We do this for a couple of reasons. One, it's our guarantee that we're going to be working at the very highest level, and we give permission to, and we are cooperating with the originating source energy, and we're also tapping into this enormous resource. We never run out. We're always connected. We never run out of energy, and we can have cadillions of souls that come in and partake of this beautiful divine light, and we never lose anything. We're never sacrificing ourselves. Remember that nothing at the divine level can hurt or harm. It's uncorruptible. It can't do anything but be in the highest ideal and cannot trespass any soul. So just showing up for the healing today, we're doing a lot for souls, and they're both in and out of body, and they've come to partake of this energy. But right now, I'm moving to do this healing for Detron, and I see symbolically a platform between us. It's just a symbol, but I like to do it because what I do is the higher selves tend to give me a symbol to use for the healing. And I'm seeing Detron, and you're dancing. You're on, symbolically, it's a symbol of you at the soul level. You're on the platform, and you're doing what I would call a happy dance. There's a tremendous amount of joy and light and excitement in this whole sense, this whole feeling that I have from you. You have this, I'm not sure what I'm going to heal on this yet, but this is what's coming first. And so within you have this tremendous amount of joy, this tremendous amount of energy, this tremendous amount of creativity. And this is not a scripted dance. It's just something very free-flowing, but it speaks to me. It pulls the viewer in. There's so much freedom in this dance and so much emotional connection to what you're doing that you mesmerize the audience, the viewers. You're just mesmerizing them. Now, okay, so the higher selves are now shifting the symbol, and there's a darkness coming in. And I want to understand what this darkness is, because this would be something that would hold you back. Now, the dance is symbolic. I'm not saying that you would be a dancer, understand. It's just an element of you at the soul level, or a symbol of you. And so right now there's a darkness coming in, a darkness that wants to put out that light, that wants to put out the joy that you're feeling. And it isn't darkness by evil. I don't mean that. In this work, there is no evil. It's just souls that are striving and full of hurt or pain or fear or anger or something, and they need healing. So it's not that kind of darkness. It feels environmental. It's almost as if the image that's coming to me is locusts. You know how a locust can come in once every 17 years? They come. So I don't know where this example is coming, but it's as if something like locusts are coming in, and they are. There's just a shadow. They block out the sun, but with locusts, it's not exactly locusts, but there's some sort of darkness, and I'm not seeing what it is, but what's being generated from you, which is what's important, is fear. It's as if there's some belief systems in there that feel like you pulled that in, that somehow you are at fault for bringing on the darkness. And again, I don't know what the darkness is. Maybe we'll get it. But I want you, Detron, to begin to let go of this fear. There's a lot of fear here, because as the darkness comes in, it's generating and triggering off a tremendous amount of fear for you. So I want you and the viewers, if you're doing the healing, to begin to release fear. And we haven't gotten to exactly what it's all about. But there's also an essence that it's your fault. It's also, you know what it is? I know exactly now what it is. It's your fault because you're so out of the box that you've been told by the spiritual authorities. It does feel, I want to say back to that Egyptian era, but I don't know that it is, but it's a long time ago. And it feels as if the spiritual authorities damper, we know this kind of spiritual teaching. It's been around in different religions and different times and different cultures and societies, that understanding that a lot of cultures and a lot of societies don't have the expanded viewpoints that we have today. The frequencies that we have today are so high in the universe and on this planet, we have expanded understanding. So many of the cultures we've been in, it's not that they're bad people necessarily, it's that they didn't have a clue. You think about the germ theory of disease. That's only been around like 300 years. So think of all those eons of time that, just on this planet, that they didn't know where disease came from. And so it's very much that same way. And something in this symbol is telling me that there was these authorities that felt, you shouldn't be dancing. And somehow this was completely unacceptable. And when this darkness came in, which feels like a natural disaster, there was some element that you blamed yourself. And I want you to let go of that self-blame, that somehow being out of the box, being fully expressive, being fully free means serious consequences. And the higher selves are indicating that this has happened to you in more than one life, because you've had this freedom, that sense of creativity, that joy, that happiness, that wanting to be true and authentic to who you are, but you haven't been able to with that kind of freedom in so many of these societies. So they're explaining that they're showing me a pattern. And so it wasn't one particular life. That's why I'm not getting specifically what it is. But there was a tendency on your part because you are very spiritual. And if the authorities told you something, if what you learned is pervasive and everybody around you believes that there are shoulds and shouldn'ts on how you can behave, what you can do, you take in those belief systems. And so when you step out of the box, when you express yourself fully in whatever way, symbolically I have you dancing, but it can be whatever way, and something bad, you would say, oh, it's my fault. I didn't follow the rules. I didn't do it right. I stepped out of the box. I tried to be myself, and now I'm having the consequences. What's wrong with me? And I really want you to let go of this whole idea there's something wrong with you. It's a belief system that you've taken on because there wasn't the essence of freedom, individual freedom. A lot of societies, it's about the whole. It's, the individual has to put aside their needs and wants and has to be part of the community. And the individuals that are successful in that kind of societies, those kind of societies, are ones that do that well. This was not your strength. Your strength was the differences that you carry, the freedom, the creativity. And I want you just to really focus on letting go of as much of that belief system that you think you have to dim your light, you have to hold yourself back, you have to keep yourself in some sort of acceptable box, or there's going to be consequences. And so I want you to release as much as you can around that. I know there's more to it than that, but so let me start. Let me take another look. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of it coming out of the abdomen area, just pouring out of the stomach type thing. You can see it coming out of anywhere, and I do feel actually a lot of tears and a lot of grief because it's been painful for you. The analogy is it's as if you were tied with your arms behind your back in so many lives, so many societies and cultures, and it's painful. It's as if you go to sleep, when something's tight around our hands, we can lose the feeling. It's as if you lost yourself, and I want you to let go of those feelings of losing the self, of disconnection from the self. There were times that it was so constrictive that literally you didn't know who you were. You couldn't relate to what you had to do and what you had to be. Now, a lot of those lives, you were actually there to help free up some of the society, to bring some of the concepts of individuality and being unique. You actually had come in a lot of these societies wanting to help expand the viewpoints and the perspectives of those people around you. It was very, very, you just have this heart of gold and you really want to help. This is a long part of who you were, this service commitment and trying to help. But the task was almost impossible, especially to see any results right away. Almost impossible to see any results right away. And so you came away from a lot of those lives feeling like you failed and not fully understanding that you actually had helped a tremendous amount, because that energy you carry, that freedom, that divine acceptance of yourself, that joy, actually souls around you took some of that energy in at the soul level, some of those ideas, some of those concepts, and that every soul utilizes that energy in their own way, in their own timing. So you wouldn't see immediate results. It might take 5 lifetimes before they start to decide or figure out they don't need to follow every single rule and they can learn to figure out who they are. It may have been 5 million years, but you actually helped so many souls by the energy that you provided, this joy, the creative self, the idea that the individual counts. Just that concept alone was absent in some of these societies. And you, from childhood, from being a little child, would bring that into your family and into the extended family and whoever was around when you were a child. And you just, in some societies, the children were, could be seen but not heard, for example. And you were one that just had that spirit. It was not this no mean-spirited and no trying to be a troublemaker. It was just came from this joyful place, this loving place, this feeling of connection with the freedom. And you were, believe me, even though you may not have seen the society change as you lived there, you did give the energy and the understanding and the concept to some people who never seen it before, never heard of it, never dealt with it, and saw the joy and started to think, whoa, how interesting is that? So this is a good thing, but there is this sense of failure. There's a sense of you didn't do enough, that you just, and this was part of your motivation to come back over and over again to these kind of lives. And so there is a pattern here. It's almost like a wheel where you want to help, you want to go in, and you go into these lives and trying to help. You're trying to, not trying, but you just would be yourself, and then something would happen or things would happen where the society would literally, the repression or something bad would happen, something difficult, something negative, and you'd blame yourself. For example, some disease hits, and there's some sort of superstition that you brought on the disease, that kind of thing. It's just painful. It's painful because you came away just devastated and hurt and upset, and I want you to let as much of that hurt and upset go, because it's based on misunderstanding and misconception, completely based on not understanding what was truly happening. If a disease came in, suddenly the flu hit, or, you're in the Middle Ages and suddenly the plague hits, if you'd done something that was out of the box and you'd been reprimanded or imprisoned or exiled, and then the plague comes in, you would take that on, well, I brought it on. It's my fault because the germs theory of disease was not present. So this is the kind of thing, and so it's tremendously painful for you and tremendously debilitating, and so it adds to the feeling of, oh, I better be careful about expressing myself. It holds us back. We start to repress ourselves because we think, oh, if we really go full throttle, guess what? There's going to be a consequence. So I want to activate something called the creative life force energy. We all carry it. Every soul carries it. It is absolutely essential. It's what creates our outer reality. And so, but I want to activate it within your light, and I want your light in your whole pure soul essence to be activated with this creative life force energy. And I want to put in it the freedom of expression, the expansion of your creativity, the open voice, all the creativity in whatever form, the actor, the designer, the stylist. Oops, I keep hitting my mic. All of these things I want to put in this creative life force energy. And the creative life force energy is working from within this very beautiful pure soul essence. It's working within this purity and perfection, your own purest, most perfect, most potent point of power, and it can create and open doors and give you permission. I want to call in also divine connection. I want you to connect fully to that pure soul essence that you are, that true, genuine self, with the freedom, the divine yes to being yourself. You carry more creativity in your little finger than most people carry, and it's very close to the surface. We've all developed many, many gifts and talents through our huge sojourn, but not all of them are quite at the at the surface. I know for me, many of mine I've had to work on for a long time, but yours are right there. You really are just full of creativity, and this creative life force energy is going to help empower and bring these into expression for you. And I want to call in divine opportunities, divine possibilities, to allow yourself to move, to bring in the doorways, to help you walk through, to provide you the access to all that you can use, all that will benefit you in your creative journey. I also want to put in divine destiny, because I see a very big place for you. You have a big piece of the pie. There are many on this planet that are going to be helping the planet in many different ways. It's a beautiful time. Not only are they there for us to get help from, but also for us to help others. It's just a tremendous community out there now, and you have an important piece, Detron. Now, the higher selves are indicating that the healing is closing down. They are putting a cocoon of energy around you. And I always see it as kind of a light blue, but people see it in different colors. It does two things. One, it allows you to acclimate, because you did do a lot of releases. I do see the symbol that I saw where you were kind of cowering from that darkness that was coming in. It's as if you're standing tall now, and there's darkness over the side, because you know what? There's always things in life, known and unknown, that are going to happen, but you're not letting it make you afraid anymore. You're not letting it kind of make you cower and hide or repress yourself. It's just you're standing tall, and there isn't any darkness that can put out the light. This light that you are is brilliant, beautiful light, and you are providing it for the world. You're providing it for the planet, for the universe, in many more ways than you can know. I have not gotten into all of that on this healing, and maybe one day I will. For someone, it'll come up. But right now, the darkness is still there, but it just doesn't have any power over you. It's not having an effect. You're just aware that it's there, and you're standing in the center of your own light, your own power, your own creativity, your own beingness, with your feet firmly planted on the ground, in the sense that you are connected to yourself. And this cocoon that's gone around you is to help, because you did release a lot, you did neutralize a lot of your energetics. I didn't talk about it so much, but I saw them coming out. You did a great job. And when we release a lot, when we're changing the frequency of our energy fields, when we are neutralizing a lot. So it changes the balance within those energy fields, and that sometimes can throw us. It can have sort of a blowback kind of thing, or maybe you feel extra tired or extra wide awake, or maybe you start having a headache or something. But the beautiful cocoon energy helps mitigate or acclimate you so that the effect is much less. The other thing it does is it allows you to keep processing, and I see that you are continuing to process, even though I'm going to end the healing very shortly now. You can continue to process along as you at the soul level is giving permission. It isn't you at the mind level. It's you at the soul level that gives permission for all the healing, how many layers are being taken off, how deep the healing goes. We set it up the best we can, but the soul's in charge, and you are cooperating with yourself at the totality of the soul level. You're also cooperating with the pure soul essence and the originating source and the higher selves, and you, as a result, you've done a very powerful healing today. Really, really powerful. I don't know how it plays out in your conscious mind or how it'll affect you tomorrow or next week, but I feel really good about it. You did a lot of uncovering of stuff that was holding you back. And with that, you can open your eyes.
Oh, thank you, Janet. Wow.
I don't know.
I'm still in this. The vibration is still very high. So
It is. I'm in La La Land too.
I have to get have to get back into the flow, into reality.
I know, and you know, it's actually a bit of a problem to get much of a feedback from someone because we come out of it not really out of it yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, now it's like creating that reality again, recreating it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
well, you're
Yeah.
welcome. I hope that helps. I hope it all.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I'm still again going through the flow.
One time I'm doing this healing on this group, and I get about halfway through, and this gal said, oh, I don't remember even now what she wanted me to heal. So I get the symbol, and she's like a little girl, and it's like something coming out of the sky,
Mm.
and she was running, trying to get away.
Wow.
And so it looked like bombs to me, but you know, here we are in America, and I'm thinking, oh, it's not bombs, and
Yeah.
I just interpreted the symbol as things coming out of left field,
Mhm.
hitting her.
Mhm.
And it was a good healing. We went on and whatever. Well, about 3 days later, and you know, because there are that many people have to leave before the thing is over.
Mhm.
And so I never had a chance to talk to her. She
Mhm.
calls me though, like 2 or 3 days later, and she says, well, I just want you to know something. And I said, okay. She said, the minute you mentioned bombs, I started to cry, and I didn't hear any more of the healing. She said, I'm from Iran, and I was bombed as a child, and it had such a profound effect, that healing, even though I wasn't working specifically on that. I don't remember
Mhm.
what the concept was. But she said I went grocery shopping after the group, and I went back home, and I was unloading the dishwasher and putting the groceries away. And my husband comes in about 10 or 15 minutes later, and he says, who are you? And she goes, what are you talking about? They've been married 10 or 12 years. She says, who are you? And he
Yeah.
says, you haven't asked me to turn the music down. And she just looked at him like a deer in headlights. She said, what? I never noticed it. Well, since a child, she's been absolutely, intensely sensitive to any noise that's up above voice level. She
Wow.
never noticed the music, because what the healing did was it healed
Healed.
her fear, that all of that thing. And she said, I thought it would go away, and it didn't. She said, my sensitivity to loud noise is gone.
That's so amazing.
So, I mean, I'm
Wow,
taking this
yeah.
time and I'll do that so that everybody can know that even
Yeah.
though we're in La La Land, we can't say how it's going to affect us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess, okay, well,
Yeah.
all right. So anyway, thank you,
Of course.
Detron.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Thank you,
I
thank you, and
so
I'll be
appreciate-
sure to give the feedback.
If you notice anything, I would
Yes,
love
I
it to
will.
share with the viewers next week.
I will. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Janet,
you're so
and your
welcome.
healing.
You're
was
so sweet
was
to be
great.
here. You're so
Yes.
sweet to be here.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Viewers, tune in next week. I'll be back.
Thank you.
You are watching to Radio Me, Radio and TV.